So I didn't think I'd have any flowers to show you, but here is my orchid with two last flowers. And let's see if I can get it on the screen. A new leaf. Yes. And this I always do, as much as possible, give us a connection to nature in my videos because the path to healing is having confidence that you will be strong and you will maintain your mind body connection. And the way to deal with the PTSD that we trans widows get at a high rate because of the abuse that our confused and sometimes violent now ex-husbands subject us to is the kind of thing that gives you PTSD. Now, even though I'm in this time of helping my wonderful Clace through his third round of chemotherapy, thank you all the well-wishers. The doctors are wonderful, and I keep on telling him we are pulling for these doctors, and they are pulling for us. And so far, things are manageable, and I believe in my capacity to be positive, even though I'm also in the process of the weeks before my cataract surgery, which will so improve my sight that I'm just getting excited about it. Again, I believe these doctors are really pulling for me, and we need to help the cross-sex ideation doctors who are on the wrong path to realize their mistakes. Unfortunately, so many young people have been damaged by their advice that is not founded in good science. And what I really want to bring up piece by piece is an analysis of Michael Schellenberger, the investigative journalist's speech and his work now that he's embarking on to create the WPATH files and to expose the World Professional Association of Transgender Health. He wants to expose that organization as a non-professional organization of lobbyists. And there are some very interesting things in here, and I continually promote the idea that we trans widows who have seen these cross-sex influencing therapists in person and who have seen our now ex-husbands go through really a deterioration, a mental deterioration and often physical deterioration. They often become quite ill. And unfortunately, they are also harming our children because when you promote a falsehood such as that you, a male, are actually a mother, some kind of mother of the children you fathered, you are promoting a dangerous and damaging untruth, a lie. And if you really want to understand the untruths, look up Dr. Stephen B. Levine. You can Google, search his name on the internet. It's Stephen with a PH, Stephen B. Levine. I can't always give the links. And later on, I will be making another video and putting it up regarding the trolls and the defensiveness of men like my ex-husband Nettie and the influence that they have in the name of so-called inclusion, diversity, and so on, where actually they are typically middle-class white men who are not at all helping minorities. They are naming themselves falsely as a minority, and they're inventing this term, sexual minority and sexual orientation minority. And I just thought it was so interesting that that Phil Illey, went to the GenSpect conference basically as advertising for what apparently is a lengthy unedited book about his autogynephilia. That means his fascination with himself, imagining he is female for sexual gratification purposes. And it's becoming evident to me that in a way you can't separate that out. And what I would really, please someone copy this. I'm banned from X, formerly Twitter, but please do copy this and post it to Michael Schellenberger, because this is a little bit of a fan post of him. I'm glad that he decided to go ahead and take on this topic of cross-sex ideation. And he has said, it's so shocking for me to read it, regarding the emails now leaked to him from these WPATH doctors. He says, language is extremely important. Like a lot of these woke, he doesn't say the word woke exactly, but that's what he means, a lot of these ideologies, it's actually enacting the opposite of what it says it's concerned about. And that is absolutely true, because the misogyny that Nettie, through the legal system, and by refusing to pay child support and by refusing to be concerned about my role as a mother and the way he was consciously, with the help of Dr. Connie, his so-called gender therapist, who wrote that letter for the surgeons at Stanford, that is actively undermining the role of women, the status of women, and the status of mothers. We are seeing motherhood attacked. So thank you, Michael Schellenberger. I really think we should have contact, you and I, Michael, because I can tell you and send you the further evidence of a person. I will look it up, but I'm relatively certain she is a member of WPATH. Dr. Connie is affiliated with Columbia University and maybe NYU, and she's very, very influential. And she wrote the most misogynistic official statements in sworn affidavits about me while admitting she had never met me. So, yes. And then one other important piece of what Michael Schellenberger said at the GenSpect conference in Denver, which you can find at the GenSpect YouTube channel. Just go into the search line and of YouTube and put in GenSpect Michael Schellenberger, and you'll get it. He was the first speaker at that conference. He quoted something from somewhere, I guess it was on Twitter or something, which is from these individuals who are actually violent. It's very clear from the data I'm keeping on trans widows' experiences. In 1/3 of 54 of our experiences, that is to say 19 of us, were sexually assaulted by our lingerie-wearing now ex-husband. So there's a quote, respect our pronouns or yours will be was were. And Schellenberger says that is a death threat. And that is actually not protected speech, which I think is very interesting. And kudos and brava to Mia Ashton. She is someone who has been the recipient of these emails revealing the WPATH doctors' lack of clarity about what they're actually doing, such as from a cross-sex ideation doctor who apparently is being asked to write letters to go to a surgeon for these confused psychologically, psychiatrically ill people. He is saying to other doctors, I have several trans clients or transgender clients with serious mental illness, bipolar disorder and autism, schizoaffective disorder. Yes, we can attest to that, we trans widows, because what that translates into that the doctors don't know about, but they should be understanding they need to ask some more questions. That translates into violence against the wife, okay? And often it's in front of the children, which is child abuse. For example, Tracy Shannon was pushed down the stairs by her now ex-husband, who now claims to be a woman. And, the police weren't involved. And she was actually reminded of this by her children, by her now grown children, who reminded her that he did that. So schizoaffective disorder. And this doctor goes on, even though these clients have a well-established, he or she says, a well-established transgender identity, their likely stability post-HRT, which is a misnomer, it's wrong sex hormones, and HRT stands for hormone replacement therapy, which was something that women after menopause were doing a little bit, but it is a little bit dangerous and can cause you cancer. So, but they decided to co-opt this HRT, hormone replacement therapy, for taking the practice of taking wrong sex hormones. So he says, this person says, member of WPATH says, even though they have a well-established trans identity, which of course they're doing so that they can come and report this to the doctor, and of course they show up with their nail polish on and nice flowing dress or whatever. That's the well-established part of it, It's difficult to predict, he says, how they will do post-surgery and post-taking wrong sex hormones. And then he's asking, what are the criteria for writing the letter for this population? And so this makes no sense. They have been saying that they can cure serious mental illness, which has symptoms of schizoaffective disorder and autism, bipolar, where, very serious medications that don't have to do with hormones and very serious interventions might help with this and make the person well. And I pose that dealing with that should be the priority. Dress how you want, put on makeup, whatever, but the truth is detransitioners tell us that 5 to 7 years later, you regret it all. And so I will, there are some more very interesting quotes from doctors that will eventually become published as the WPATH files. Together with some very good investigative journalists finally taking this up, as well as um, the the publicity that will come with certain states banning um, these dangerous treatments on minors, as well as trans widows telling our stories. Um, Please, Michael Schellenberger, I am at utahagengrasswidow.wordpress.com. And you know what? God Sod, who is a professor at Concordia University in Canada, made a comment made a reply saying we should have a conversation, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if he was serious because I contacted him. I found his email and said, I think that, if you are speaking the truth to the cross sex ideology, you will get a lot of good factual information from trans widows. And he flippantly replied to me at that point saying, I don't think I'm interested. But maybe he's changing his mind. Yes, copy this and post it to GAD is his first name. He's from Lebanon originally, and SAAD. He's written several bestsellers, and he's sort of taking this up. And maybe he will, just like Tammy Peterson, decide to interview me one day. Be well, go out in nature. I am probably going to post something about my weeding, which still goes on even though it's been cold. Some of those weeds seem to have antifreeze in their veins, and I will be out there dealing with them.